true Fagionian welcome.
Yes, a true Fagionian welcome indeed. It is I, Gomez, and I'm joined by my co-host, which we're told,
Me?
Jankie. That's the
Oh,
word.
hi!
But we're also joined by a guest. So, Snnuy.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Indeed, thank you for being here. This is
Yeah,
more
thanks
the
for
thing.
coming.
My pleasure, really.
Yes. So, as you might know, like Sunny is a really really talented and entertaining content creator in the Legends of Runeterra community and YouTube, definitely, as well as obviously Twitch. So, yeah, I guess what our main thing to start off with is like, how did you get into what's your card game history? Let's start from the bottom and get there, like to where we are today.
How did you find the genre? I guess.
Well, I started like when I was pretty young with Yu-Gi-Oh, but I mean,
Nice.
as some people might know, I'm Dutch, and my English back then wasn't that great, so I really did not play by any of the rules. I just saw a cool dragon that I still don't know how Yu-Gi-Oh works, but I believe you have to pay like sacrifice costs or something. I saw like a blue eyes white dragon on turn 1, or when the game started, to be like, here you go. So that's how I started, and that was just with friends, so it was pretty like low stakes and stuff. But in 2014, when Hearthstone came out, that was my first like card game where I really went like all in. And then later on, when Runeterra got announced, I got super excited for that because I've been playing League of Legends like all that time. So having a card game with like my favorite characters and favorite universe was just like a godsend. So it's Hearthstone that got me into it.
Okay,
Yeah,
or everybody in this chat has played Hearthstone.
Yeah, I think because that's the thing is I started in Hearthstone in terms of like, so obviously I played a little bit of Magic the Gathering and that, and then started playing Hearthstone when I saw it on there because it looks so pretty with the colours and whatnot, and then like literally I got addicted to it. I'm not gonna lie, I got addicted to it, but my wallet wasn't happy about the situation, and then then Runeterra came along and it was like, yep, this is nicer. It like actually, now that I think about it, it's like feels like a lot better than Hearthstone as well. Like, I haven't played Hearthstone since playing Runeterra, but yeah, like the fact that you can actually build a collection for relatively like cheap to no money is a good thing.
I know there is a function by which you can go into your Blizzard account and see how much money you have spent on Blizzard properties. Do either of you guys know how much money?
I don't want to do it.
Do either of you know how much money you wasted on Hearthstone?
I'm avoiding that. I'm uninstalling Battle.net as we speak.
Literally, like, I checked once about halfway through my time playing Hearthstone, and it scared me into turning free to play. Like I was free to play from like Kobolds and Catacombs onwards, and like I say, since the release of Runeterra, I don't think I have actually touched Hearthstone except for Dungeon Run, because Dungeon Run is.
Yeah, no, I don't want to have a look at how much I've spent, but I can tell it's gonna be a lot.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't exactly remember what Hearthstone expansion came out when Runeterra was about the same time of release. I think it was like the Outlands, like with Mecha Jiraxes and stuff. I did play it. I didn't spend money on it. That was like the first time I didn't actually spend any money on Hearthstone because I would usually pre-order it.
Yes,
and after that, like I would log in as like an expansion got released and see what was new. But I haven't even done that for like the last 2 expansions. It's just been all Runeterra because it's so much better.
Hearing you say I used to pre-order every expansion, I already have a very good idea of how much money you spent on the game.
Yes, yeah, no, I did the same.
Yeah, so did I. We've all victim.
I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
I think the last set I spent money on was Battle for Dalaran. Was that what it was called? Something for Dalaran.
Rise of Shadows.
Yeah, the third part of the you know that entire year where they had an overarching storyline.
Yeah.
It was the last set of that one. Something for Dalaran, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember what the hell it was called. But
I think it was Descent of Dragons, wasn't that?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, you're right. It's just that when you play that 2 cost, he says we must stand together, united for Dalaran.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, to be fair, they had instantly had my money immediately when they brought Reno Jackson back.
I remember I was working like a supermarket job, and I was like sitting like about to go home, and then I remember, oh, this is the day where they dropped the trailer, and I remember those Hearthstone songs. All of them are absolute bangers. I would play them on repeat. So I saw like that little like thumbnail. I saw like Reno Jackson, the little Murloc and Elise and whatnot. And I was like, oh man, when I go home, I know I'm gonna be jamming this like all night. And it turned out to be their best song with I don't remember which one it was, with like the desert song. I just remember that was fantastic.
That one was sick, but I would challenge that the best one was definitely Rastikan's Rumble.
Oh,
Rastikan's
actually,
Rumble was
yeah.
a banger.
Yeah, you know, you're right. You're right. That was great.
Now, admittedly, we are a Legends of Runeterra podcast.
Oh yeah. My bad. Oh no, I'm a terrible influence. I'm so
oh my
sorry.
god, this is now what we've become. But, I have to ask though, because just getting back to like previously when you were saying about getting into it and that, like saying that you started with Yu-Gi, like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mhm.
I want to know, like, legit, did you play it like the anime with your friends? Was it like, haha,
Oh yeah, for sure. We had like those things on our arms and stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
no, not those!
I was the coolest kid at school. Trust me.
But I mean that you've activated my trap card. That's what I want to know.
Exactly.
That's one up from me. I used to live in like the center, the absolute middle of nowhere. Like I had my like growing up. I only had friends at school. Like outside of school, it was too far to travel. So I used to collect the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I just like owned them and looked at them like, damn, I wish I knew how to play card games.
Look at my collection.
It was basically the same for us. None of us had any idea how to play. We just like compared collections and sometimes did like those meme battles with absolutely no rules. Just like see who can throw on the coolest card on the board and play some trap cards, and that was it. And it was a good time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all you need is pieces of paper and imagination when you're that age. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's very true. What I did love about, like, obviously, like, because yeah, again, I know that we don't really want to talk about Hearthstone, but like the reason why the online card game got me like so hooked, I think, is it was that element of RNG that you can't do in a physical card game. Like this card creates a random card out of like you know what I mean, like you can't replicate that really on paper.
Yeah, counterfeit copies like Zillion's Time Bombs, effects like that don't really exist in paper card games.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
And that's one of the coolest mechanics, like especially out of recent sets. I like, as unhealthy as it probably is fundamentally, I really like the Zillion Time Bomb like idea. Maybe his level up condition is a little bit whack, but it's still one of my like favorite cards to come out in the last set.
Yeah, same here. Definitely. Easily.
I mean, he's a crazy old time wizard. He's got my vote every step of the day. And yeah, no, literally, considering the fact that I recently put out like that stupid, crazy deck that doesn't really do too much, but at the same point, it is just comedy. The Recall Zillion deck, where it literally is just running him with the Ionian landmark of continuously recalling him and replaying him just so that time bombs. My whole deck becomes time bombs.
My whole deck becomes time bombs. My opponent plays Scar Grounds and I cry.
Yep. Pretty much.
Labs experience.
Yeah.
That is the labs experience with Zillion.
Oh my god. So we mentioned earlier that you have the YouTube channel that did we mention before we recorded or after we recorded that you just?
It was before we recorded.
That you've just reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And you make absolutely like mind-blowing content. Like you have like this month released like 3, 4, 5 decks where I looked at the video, I looked at the thumbnail, I saw your deck tech at the start, I was like, I would never have thought of doing that. Like your for example, I've been slamming your Targon Sejuani deck on ladder. And it's actual like it's so much better than you would think, just because Sejuani doesn't level in that deck. She's just there as the unit that she is. Like on the surface, it has like no synergy. So what I want to ask is like how do you build your decks? Like what is the thought process that goes into making the decks for your videos?
I mean, it really depends on what kind of deck. Like sometimes I just look at a card and I'm like, I want to kind of see how I can make this work. I remember in the past, like one of those big meme cards were like Barkeep and Legion Marauders. And I as much as I like those cards, I felt like, okay, you can take this card and you can build your entire deck around it, but it'll be kind of boring because it's all about that one card. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think those decks are boring to play at all. I just think you can get like a lot more out of it. And I think one of the decks that I'm the most proud of, and it's a pretty good example, is the possession deck that I made. Because you can make a possession deck, and I've done that in the past, like literally a year ago. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play possession, and I'm gonna play every card that like steals cards from my opponent. But I think if you take a card and you combo it with one more piece, that's really interesting, and then you try to make cards or get cards that support that. Like with the possession deck, it was the Mask Mother that recently came out. Like if you steal your opponent's card, and then you can kill it with Mask Mother to gain those stats and deny them their entire turn. Or with Bone Skewer that recently got released, you place that stolen unit on top of your deck.
Such a good combo.
Yeah, and then like a small card like Glimpse Beyond, and then you just try to make like the deck consistent. And that's actually why I like Targon so much, because the Targon is really easy to make consistent. I made a tweet recently where it's like whenever I build a deck and Targon has it, I just slap 3 Zoes, 3 Star Shapers, and 3 Fangs, and then the deck already functioned by itself.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need. That's job done.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you make a good deck.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's kind of the same with that Sejuani deck. But the idea there was I saw a card like Involius Vox. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And I was like, this is kind of like a value engine, like that dragon where if you kill something, you get more dragons.
Yeah.
I was like, so if you have a region like Freljord, you can really like protect that unit. And then you have cards like Starlit Seer that kind of buffs them. So you need good targets to be buffed. So I was like, okay, let's just make a deck with really good value engines and a way to end the game. So originally it had like Aphelios for the Overwhelm gun. I was like, what if I just take Sejuani, because he provides like a really strong swing turn and she has the Overwhelm, so protecting her actually matters. And then you have a way to close out games with Targon. And that's kind of like how I build my decks. I just take like one concept or one card, and then I try to find more fitting pieces to really either have another card that does the same thing that you can like enable easily, or I just find a lot of cards that make the deck consistent and protect whatever you're trying to do so you can stay in the game.
Well, because you're damn good at it as
Yeah.
as another like content creator. Like literally, like it's I can build like loads of different decks, and some of them do okay, but nowhere near to the level that your decks is like so well thought out in just like every piece of it. Like sometimes I see a combo or something, and I will just go, okay, I'm gonna go all in on that combo. But if I don't get there, then I'm fucked.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really hard. Like it doesn't always work out. It's pretty hit or miss for me sometimes too. But like you get better as you go, and yeah, the key I think is just to go beyond like that one card combo, and that's why I gave Legion Marauder and Barkeep as like an example, because it's really easy to take those cards and be like, okay, I'm gonna go all in on those. But if you don't draw your Legion Marauders, I mean, it got better with that 8 mana spell, or if you don't draw your Barkeeps, your deck doesn't function. So you need more than that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Recently I saw a Barkeep deck where they had a secondary win condition that was also worth cloning, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. It was in Shadow Isles. Oh, it was Mist Wraith Shadow Barkeep. So you could go in on like either one of your win conditions. It was a really interesting concept, but it missed allegiance a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would work. That's exactly like how I try to build my decks. Like, okay, if you do like you said with the Barkeep, you can clone those, or you can clone a Mist Wraith. And then when you have 2 pieces, it's already like, well, it's literally double as consistent.
Yeah. I used to I don't know what it is about Legends of Runeterra. I try my best to build my own brews for ladder, but like I used to play Magic the Gathering, and I used to like never even bother looking at like tier lists or like what the meta looks like. I got a general gist from playing the game itself, but I didn't really care what other people were doing because like I knew I could fall back on my own deck building ability. For Legends of Runeterra, I don't know why it's just so alien to me, especially after playing it for like a year and a half now. But like I can't just fall back on my own deck building in this game. It feels so different to every other card game I've played, and I've played most of them.
I remember, I don't know, this is a few months ago, but I remember being on your stream, and I think you were playing like a Swain deck, like an aggro Swain deck. Didn't you hit Master with that?
Yeah, so that was actually not my deck, but
Okay.
It was close. Someone in chat told me that they wanted to see Ezreal Swain with True Shot Barrage, 3-up True Shot Barrage, and I was like, yeah, sure, I might as well do that. And it was during the 24 hours, so we had plenty of time, and we played that deck for like 3 hours, and then like it didn't really lose. Like we went on a complete win streak from Diamond 4 to Masters, despite like it that I would never have like without chat telling me to do that, I would never have like put that deck together. But it turned out to just be quite good against the meta, and True Shot Barrage actually like fully carried the deck. It was very unexpected.
It's one of
Perfect
those cards where you
Storm.
just don't expect it, isn't it? Like the 7-mana slow speed.
Yeah, it literally carried the deck. There was never an occasion where I was casting True Shot Barrage and it didn't feel like the turning point in the game. Because there was like no Ionia going around at the time, and like most decks were board based, so it I never felt I was risking it into deny. Occasionally, I would go up against Lee Sin, and it would just be like, yeah, that's fine. I'm still an Ezreal deck. Like, I still have more removal than you have counter spells. So, like, the only Ionia deck I came up against, I could just hold the True Shot Barrage, and it would be a bit of a duff turn. But like, I actually rate that card now. I put it into some of my decks even now, but it's a little bit less good.
I was gonna say, the time when you didn't have to worry about Ionia on the ladder.
Yeah, literally.
Until Irelia saved Ionia a little too well.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage doesn't feel so good into functionally infinite units and the Watcher. The Watcher obviously doesn't get does nothing against that entire deck archetype, and also like Irelia doesn't care about removal. You need landmark removal or you're kind of guffed.
Yeah, and if that wasn't enough, like the return of Ionia, there's also Rite of Negligence now.
Yeah,
so
true.
it's another
Yeah,
deny.
right.
Rite of Negation, yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
I prefer Rite of Negligence.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it does.
Yeah, the ladder's very different nowadays. Probably for the worst, but that's
I'd say so. Yeah.
I don't think it's nearly as bad as Twitter makes it out to be, but it's definitely a miserable time right now.
Yeah, because to be fair, we've had things like this before when there's been like, you know, the like in quotation marks most hated deck or most like, you know, like obviously like a Twisted Fate Fizz had a very long time of people hating it. Do you remember the just like back when Trundle, Trendemir, Feel the Rush?
Yeah.
Was I mean, but it was a thing that people
yeah.
hated so much because that immediate ability of being able to control the board, get Trendemir out, and then basically atrocity face, but then all like on the attack, and then he just levels up and still goes into you. There's some really devastating moves that people used to throw out with that.
Yes, Sunny, you've been playing since open beta, right? Season of Plunder.
Yeah, like the season before that. Was it beta? I don't know. The thing before
beta.
Ghostwater came out.
Yeah.
Beta, closed beta.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, oh, sorry, no, yeah, you're right. That's open beta. Yeah, I'm just remembering wrong. Yeah, the season just before Season of Plunder. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The one that got you the blue Poro or whatever.
Yeah. I was playing that, but pretty like low key. I didn't really play a whole lot.
Yeah, so that would have been the meta with standalone, right?
Yeah,
the best meta to ever exist. I honestly think I have Stockholm syndrome for standalone. I want them to put it back to 3 mana. I loved playing Snap with my opponents. They would drop a Solitary Monk on turn 3. It was a 4/3 for some reason, and then they would play their 3-cost standalone, and I would have 2 turns left to flounder. It was great. I loved that deck.
Will I say I miss the comedy moments now of because more cards have been added to the game, which obviously is really good. Because more cards, I miss that there used to be so many moments where, like, because I play some really stupid decks, so either Remitter or Try Beaming Probulator, where the best move to do was to use them, and the only like if it was Remitter, there'd be a 1 cost on the board, and if it was Try Beam, it'd be on 3 cost. And it'd be like, I have to use this. It's the best maneuver for me to do right now. And then you immediately do it. Solitary Monk gets summoned. Everything else comes down. Like, shit.
Well, actually, from a design standpoint, I always thought it was weird that Solitary Monk wasn't a play effect because apart from like it being summoned off of random effects and it being a hilarious low roll, like just so much lower than everything else in the game. Apart from that, it's also it adds a different archetype that no one would ever play, mind you, but it adds a different archetype where you could counter your own ability. And there's a couple of abilities in the game where they're negatives, like they're negative play effects. And there's like the intended Tom Kench archetype, like when he came out with the play effects that they deal damage to themselves. I think it would probably make more sense from a design perspective if Solitary Monk was a play, not a summon effect.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It feels like the one true card that can enable like those, dare I say it, Hearthstone moment where it's just like, oh wait, what just happened? My entire board's
Ex-
gone, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
realize it's that
exactly.
one card.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for just the ability to be able to somehow be able to get it so I can force it to be like resummoned or summoned on my opponent's side of the field. just so that I can do that as a counter maneuver. All your stuff is now back in the hand.
I relish the day they add treachery to this game, like treachery from Hearthstone. I really want to be able to give stuff to my opponent.
Yeah.
It's that deck archetype is one of the coolest things in any card game. Harmless Offering, when that was a modern deck in MTG, I don't know if either of you played.
No, I don't remember that one. Anyway.
There was briefly a time where one of the not necessarily best, but popular decks in Modern played around giving your entire deck to your opponent. Just pretty much every permanent you ever put in play, you didn't want to have it. And that was all they did, was they played stuff and then, here, this is for you, this is for you, and this is also for you. You never had permanents in play because you were giving them all to them. And I loved that deck. That was like my favorite time to play Modern.
I kind of do miss that. I think the fact that there's only 6 board spaces does kind of limit Runeterra in a way. That they might not do something like that where you just keep giving like negative effects to your opponent. But I would actually love to see an archetype like that.
Yeah, at least
it would be just really funny. that's the main thing.
It's been a long time since I've played, but so in Hearthstone, 0 attack units can't attack, right? Right.
Wait, I don't remember. I think you're right. Yeah, you can't even move them.
Yeah, I don't think so. So they actually like clog up your board, and like if you have a full board of 0 attacks, you soft lock yourself out of the game.
Yeah.
At least in Runeterra, you can override your own units, and they can also attack in theory.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't be as effective as it could be.
So, shall we talk about the most recent patch? Went live today, right? Yesterday?
Well,
yesterday evening.
Yesterday. So this is the cosmetic patch that we were expecting from the Region Rowan map. The pool party. Yes. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little disappointed with some of these skins. What are you guys? I'll let you guys go first. What thoughts do you have on the entire event, or event in air quotes, the entire skin line?
I think in a way it's a good thing, because with the Cosmic and the Darkstar skins that we got, they were new skins. I don't think any of them were originally in League of Legends, but they did mention at the same time, we're going to bring back some old favorites. So my biggest worry was instantly, oh no, what if they take like the exact art that's already in League of Legends and just put it in Runeterra?
Yeah.
But they took every skin that already exists and gave them a new splash art and like a new level 1 and a level 2. So I mean, in a way, I think it's okay. I think I still think they're just testing the water. So even if I hated them, I couldn't hate them that much, because I think it's just they're testing stuff out. They're seeing how well it works. And then eventually they'll get to the good stuff. But yeah, I am a little disappointed in a way, but I don't hate it. I'm so happy the skins are there.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with that sentiment. Whereby, like, even if I did hate them, like they're just starting out, right? But there are things that I find disappointing. And Gomez, I'm sure you can agree.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, for me, number one, I would say I love actually the art style and like some of the details. If you look at the artwork, like obviously like in Tarek's artwork, like Tarek looks amazing anyway, but Tarek's artwork, like his first level up, the slide in the background, like the water slide, is like it's got like the horny thingamajiggy of like like Mount Targon.
The horny thingamajiggy.
The horny thingamajiggy about Targon, like, and the detail of the characters, like the actual Legends of Runeterra characters, especially in Draven's artwork. Like, again, everyone from the arena, like,
yeah, there are a lot of really, the art I cannot fault. The art is excellent, especially Draven's.
Yeah, I mean, Draven's is good, yeah.
But the issue I have is that the same issue I had with Darkstar Zed is that Heimerdinger and Draven and Zed, their associated cards are just the default ones.
Yeah, Heimer. Yeah, I like, as a Heimer player, like obviously, like people know that Gomez loves Heimer. He's basically like my main favorite character in Runeterra. The fact that his turrets didn't get hit even a little bit just to look like slightly different. It was a bit of a hit, considering the fact how much you pay for these. You are basically just paying for pictures. Like, not even like what I'd say is what I would like to see in the future is just changes to voice lines as well. Like, so that you get it. Not only is it a change of pictures, because obviously not everyone gets new animations. So just changing to some of the voice lines and making it seem more in theme with the art, I would be happy with.
I understand that they probably wouldn't want to hire voice actors every single time they bring like a new skin out, but if they're already hiring artists to make the skin art itself, I don't think it's too much of a push, especially for like the Darkstar Z skin and the Talia skin are both of like a grade better than the other skins, right? They both come with new level up animations. So it did feel a bit crappy that Z doesn't make a special shadow, and Talia's animation with her rocks. I haven't actually checked. I'm just assuming for this bit.
Doesn't Zed have like different art in the shadows? I think he does.
He? Does he? Wait, hold on one second.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Now we're going quickly. Fact check.
Ah,
Quickly.
ah,
Why you do? Why you do that? I'll play the music.
Okay.
Mario, no.
But let's assume that is true. Shit. But the okay. Does Talia? Because I haven't actually checked this.
No.
Does Talia's rocks when she attacks? No. They're just rocks, right?
They're just rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rocks.
That would also be a nice touch. Yeah.
She throws water at you instead of rocks.
Yeah. She throws bubbles at you or something. Like, yeah. But you understand what I mean. I feel like for the price that they are asking for these, it would be nice if they were a little bit more than just the front face and the back face art. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I checked the store, and I actually did see that the Talia, Zed, and Yasuo skins are epic tier. So to come back on that voiceover argument, I think they might do something like that if they ever do legendary skins. But the problem is they'll probably be even more expensive. So
Probably, yeah.
You know.
100%. I think they'll definitely do legendaries at some point. I'm interested to see because you bring that up. There are legendaries in League, so presumably we can expect legendaries at some point in LOR. I'd be interested to see what a legendary guardian or a legendary board looked like.
Yeah,
I
same.
still want to see, because obviously, like, we saw what the hell's the one which is with the bald core? Is it a Mega Guardian? What was the...
Yeah, Mega Guardian.
Something like that.
Yeah, if it's a legendary Guardian, I want them to do that kind of thing, only it's the added thing that I said, that he actually hands you your cards. So
Yeah.
his hand is right above the deck. Just hand me my cards, man.
What are you doing? Just standing there looking at me? Be
Exactly.
useful.
You can shoot lasers and whatnot, but just give me my cards.
If you're going that far, I kind of want him to like pick up my units that are attacking and just slam them into the opponent too. I mean, if we're going that direction.
If I'm paying money for it, get in front of my Nexus. Take damage for me.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah,
So take one for the team.
you get below 10 health and your Guardian just dies. No, but like Ellie, no. Yeah.
But I will say as I feel like they did a good job. As you say, they're probably testing the waters right now, right? Because let's face it, people vote with their wallet. So
yeah.
Like, depending on how much money it makes, if they they might end up trying it at slightly cheaper or somewhat, and just see how many more. Like, it's gonna be that perfect balance point of what do we put out at that we can get the most people to pay for, and the profit is nice. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be the end of it, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah.
What I want to know is why is Heimerdinger so built? Why is he so built? He has enormous pecs.
Because, I mean, are you an engineer? Do you know how long it takes to the energy of screwing in those lug nuts and whatnot? I don't think you understand. He is
the energy of screwing in those lug nuts.
I don't think you understand, man. He does all the things. He does all the things. Plus, he's had that crab training him. Like, that crab is like the equivalent of Sensei, whatever the hell it is, in Karate Kid. What's it? Mr. Miyagi! Yeah, that crab is the equivalent of Mr. Miyagi, okay?
Is there this really ripped crab in SpongeBob too? Maybe that's just his little brother or something.
Exactly. I mean, the crossover between SpongeBob and Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah, the crossover we're all expecting and waiting for.
This was their perfect chance, and it didn't take it.
The thing that I have noticed, the emotes, the raw quality of the emotes, the texturing and the shading is getting superb. I I actually do like these emotes a lot as well, but they look crisper and like do you know what I mean? Like when you look at the Talia one and the Tarek one, they look a much higher quality than they did back when it was Jinx and the Poro and etc.
To be fair, if you look back at the level up animations
True.
of Teemo to nowadays,
it's not even close.
Exactly. So I mean, I feel that was the other thing that I swear I actually saw some people messaging saying, "Oh, how comes out of all of them, Tally's the one who gets a new level up animation when she's actually quite a recent champion compared to some of the others?" I guess Draven's the oldest out of. Actually, no, Draven and Fiora would be the oldest ones, but I don't know what you would do to change Fiora's animation because it's all about obviously the 4 hits.
Draven, Fiora, and Heimer all came out at the same time, and Heimer is definitely the most egregious level up.
I don't mind his level up with
of course you don't.
And Draven doesn't even level up, so I mean
that's true.
Draven could have taken. Speaking of Draven, we're going on about these patch notes and whatnot. Did anyone actually realise the issue of Draven incorrectly leveling up when he was released from Entombed? Because I never saw that happen once.
I would say most of the time I don't see like bug fixes happen like on the whole.
I do most of the time.
I noticed the Aurelion Soul one where like it shows you the celestials that they could pick from one at a time, and I thought it was intended. I thought that was intended. I was just like, Riot, please. I already want to surrender because it's Aurelion Soul. Don't make me tilt out as well.
I guess so. As I said, like to sum up, I feel like they've done a good job, and definitely the artwork has it's on point and everything. It's just that I feel that everyone wants a little bit more.
The board's
I think it's mostly like the old things. I think are kind of like you're really starting to see the difference in like big time, but it's kind of the same with League of Legends where they're going back to like rework some older champions, give them visual upgrades. And I mean, if Runeterra exists for like another maybe a year, wouldn't be surprised to see them do something like that as well. Some touch ups.
I would like to hope they exist for another year. I hope they exist for a long time. I like this game so much, man.
I hope they. I don't think this. I think this game has like established itself too hard to bomb completely at this point. But like, God, if it does, can you?
I mean,
imagine?
to be fair, I mean, I say that, but people were saying like, in patch 2.9, well, the game's dead. Rest in peace.
People have said
how many people overreacted?
People have said that every single patch since patch 1. So, I just you talking about going back and changing champions in League of Legends. I know this will mean absolutely nothing to Gomez, but I do want to know what champions do you main in League of Legends? You mentioned that you played it for a while.
Yeah, I played it for 10 years. At pretty
same.
high level.
That's a while.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah, that's why I quit. I couldn't take it anymore. But my main champions, I mean, through the years, I've made Rumble, Rek'Sai, and right now I mostly play Pyke and Fiddlesticks. Those are my favorites.
Pre or post ult rework Rek'Sai?
Both.
Fair enough. I miss Rek'Sai's old ultimate. That was so much fun.
Yeah, going across the map.
But no, I can respect that. None of those made me recoil, so that's how you know. Pyke and Fiddlesticks. That's respectable. I was a hardcore Tarek main. I played nothing except Tarek.
Yeah.
From the moment he got reworked till when I quit like last year, I got the greater portion of a million mastery on Tarek, and then they nerfed him to the ground because of the Master Yi interaction, and now I don't play anymore.
Yep. How do you feel about Tarek and Runeterra? If you like, my mains are not in Runeterra, so I don't really know how that feels to see them like their take on it. But how's that for you?
I am personally, I don't care that he's not particularly powerful. I love that they were very true to his character. Like, it's not only are the new voice lines great, but he is represented perfectly in game. Like, the way he basically uses Bastion on the person he supports, and like he uses his ultimate when he levels up. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I really hope that when Pyke comes out next set, he is a strong representation of Pyke in League.
Yeah.
I feel like there is nothing more like vitriolically satisfying than Pyke's ultimate. Pyke's ultimate in League is it feels so good.
It's the best feeling to get that reset. Like, one ult feels great. If you get that second, man, I can ride that high for an entire week.
Oh
That shit
yeah,
has been-
oh yeah.
Oh, man.
Can somebody explain to Gomez?
Yeah,
Because Gomez doesn't know what his ult does.
Pike, like X marks the spot, draws in like a little X on the map, and then
Right.
anyone inside of that X that is low enough health just dies. And
And then
then
he gives gold to teammates. Like, he shares gold because he is a support. But if you do that, you can cast his ult again, like executing more people with X marks the spot.
and the big thing is that the sound design is excellent.
Yeah.
It feels so powerful when you do it because of like the noise it makes and the
Yeah.
pose he makes. It's just it's beautiful.
It gives me shiver. Like, the first time I remember seeing that trailer, I was at a friend's house and I saw that trailer for like Pike getting revealed. I don't know if you've seen it, where he does like this little story and then like at the end, like, you look familiar. That part, I didn't even know what he did. I fell in love.
Yeah.
But then, like, my problem was I always played him, so I didn't even know until like I played against the Pike that if you die to his ult, you it's like when your screen is gray, it's like you're underwater. Like,
he drowns you. He takes you to the depths.
exactly. It's fantastic. It's
He is
amazing.
I do look forward to seeing what they do with him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he's one of those champions I'm excited for because let's face it, he might be the Irelia of Bilgewater to bring Bilgewater back.
I can't wait for that.
That would be I don't know about you, but I think that would be the worst feeling. Like I would hate for one of my favorite champions. So one of my other favorite champions in League is like Sion. If they release Sion and he breaks Noxus and he is the most hated champion in Legends of Runeterra, like, can you imagine if you're like an Irelia main in League of... Well, actually, Irelia is already hated. Let's say you're an Azir main in League of Legends. They released Azir Aurelia happened, and everybody was like hounding your champion and like made you feel bad for liking Azir. I would hate that.
Yeah, same, actually.
I wouldn't want I wouldn't want Pike to be broken. Like broken.
True.
No, I agree. I can feel that. It's I'm definitely a hipster, but I've never been like when a champion I main is suddenly strong. I mean I like champions for like everything: their story, their visuals, their design, their playstyle. So when a champion becomes broken, if I still have all those things that like check my marks, I'm like, I'll just pretend like I can't hear them screaming at me.
So long as they never change Tarek's voice actor, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
The Disney prince.
Yeah, sure, you're all shiny and majestic, but can you float? Okay. So one assuming we're done talking about patch, what is that? Patch 2.10. One last thing that I wanted to touch on: we have been teased by Riot's Reddit post that we are receiving a lot of buffs as well as nerfs in the coming patch, in patch 2.11, and it's really easy to talk about like what kind of nerfs we can expect, like really easy at this point, but what kind of buffs do you guys want to see?
I mean, I'm gonna guess, knowing from Sunny's content, that the man, much like myself, does still love Bilgewater, and so would love to see some of that buff love hitting that region. Considering the fact that, like, literally, like, I see so many of your videos where you say about the play percentage of Bilgewater. Like,
wow.
I'm bringing it back. Which, to be fair,
I'm getting
you do a good
triggered
job.
just thinking about it.
What is it now? 4% Bilgewater?
Still 3%.
But yeah, so Bilgewater is like, even reverting some of the previous nerfs they'd made, I wouldn't mind seeing that now. Like, obviously they were hated at the time. Like, especially I know that I might get hate for this, but I don't mind giving Riptide Rex his extra cannon back at this point.
Oh yeah, that's
Not at all.
Like,
yeah,
back in the day when it was, like, I can understand why people were having a big go and whatnot at the time with what cards we had. But now with Rite of Negation being a thing in the game where literally you can just take all of his things out of the game, I wouldn't mind Riptide Rex just having all of his cannons back.
Yeah,
I agree.
100. I think they could. So, in order to like really buff up the power level of a set, you have to make its 1 cost, 2 drops, and 3 costs like better, right? Like 4 onwards doesn't matter as much as when it comes to like the core power of the
region.
Yeah. Except for Targon, because Targon is like built different.
Value engine.
And the problem with like Bilgewater is their 1 costs are already quite good, or they're suited to a very specific archetype. For example, like Jagged Butcher is great, Pool Shark is great. They could, I suppose, buff the what is it, Prowling Cutthroat or the Shell
Yeah.
Shocker, but like their cards are so suited to an archetype, and they do what they do quite well. So, Black Market Merchant is locked into an archetype. Boxtopus is locked into an archetype.
8-punch Pablo.
they're
He's had his time in the sun, hasn't he?
they're more generic 2 costs like Dreadway Deckhand, Fortune Croaker, Hired Gun. They're already good cards. I think the problem with I can't imagine how they can buff Bilgewater because their cards are so locked into strategies.
No, I know. No. Hear me out, okay?
Yeah.
Targon has this 2 cost that gives a gem, right?
Yep.
I want a Dock Goat. I don't know, the Slaughter Dock Goat, and every time it strikes, you get a warning shot.
Every time it strikes, you get Powder
Ooh.
Keg.
Oh, that would work too. Yeah.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. Like either of the above, actually. Like
I love the fact that it still has to be a goat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's on the docks. It has to be a goat dock. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mountain Goat, Dock Goat. Yeah.
I can imagine it like that art makes sense in my head. Just like a goat pulling like a wagon filled with barrels. Like it functions. It checks out.
Yeah.
But in the short term though, before they release Pike, I don't know how they can change the cards we already have to be better. Because if they push, so on the 3-drop slot, if they push Lounging Lizard, Petty Officer, even Slotbot, if they push any of those cards anymore, Monkey Idol, I think they will be broken.
Yeah.
They are already so close to playable. I don't think they can change them in any meaningful way.
Didn't Petty Officer used to have 2 health?
It did.
Or, like-
that was
Yeah.
that was a mistake.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
No, you say that Petty Officer having 2 health was a mistake, but now he doesn't instantly kill himself if he summons the Freljord. The Freljord 1 cost, he does 1 damage, because literally, I don't know how many times I've used Petty Officer and he's killed himself.
Yeah,
That is
Something
a problem with the fundamentals of the game, not Petty Officer. I am in the
Yeah.
waiting room for them to fix that interaction. Like the fact that summoned units exist before, but it's like it's not even consistent, right? Because Petty Officer summons the 1/2, but the 1/2 is there before Petty Officer enters, right?
Yeah, it's
But Matron summons Cythria, and Cythria is not there before the Matron because the Matron also gets buffed.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not consistent throughout the game. It's such a pain in the ass. Riot, please.
It's oh man, that's one of the things that trigger me like the most out of Runeterra. I remember playing as like a Nasus Thresh, and I was playing like my little Rock Hopper, and then this guy summons the Dune Keeper, and his Ephemeral gets vulnerable when
Yeah,
I'm playing like a Renekton deck, and then I summon another Rock Hopper, and he summons another Dune Keeper. I'm like, oh well, okay. I guess my Crocodile isn't getting fed today.
Add that to the list of reasons Dune Keeper is a problem.
Yeah, man.
Can we just nerf? Sorry, can we just actually don't nerf Dune Keeper? Just buff Decimate to 1 mana.
Yeah. Keep it consistent, yeah? But I mean, actually, technically, you could take that guy down to a 1/1. Like, you could take Junkie
Oh yeah,
down
totally.
to a 1/1,
Could,
like-
should take that down to a 1/1.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's talking about nerfs. We're talking about buffs.
Buffs, but yeah, I don't know. A buff to Bilgewater that I think would be like reasonably like healthy. I think Razor Scale Hunter. It has vulnerable synergy. Presumably, it'll synergize with Pike. It'll synergize with like Renekton. I don't know. It might bring a new archetype into existence, and that card is like pretty weak for a 5-drop. I'm trying to think. Like, what cards exist in Bilgewater?
What you'd want to see buffed potentially?
Yeah, because the region needs.
I'll tell you what. Buff sunk cost, so we actually have landmark removal in Bilgewater that's actually usable,
or even removal in Bilgewater that's reasonable.
I would actually like to see Make It Rain.
Oh,
Probably go back to 2 mana. It's risky though.
Yeah,
but...
back to 2 mana. I mean, with the amount of blade dances and sand soldiers, I don't think it would be bad back at 2 mana.
I don't think it's fair that Bilgewater can't have a 2 mana Make It Rain. Like, look at Make It Rain at 3 mana compared to Lyssandra's spell. What is that called? The 3 cost.
Ice Shard.
Ice Shard. Yeah, that's like Make It Rain could totally be a 2 cost at this point. Like, if Ice Shard isn't game breaking, then Make It Rain won't be either. Like,
Plus, we can bring back the Ezreal combination in Bilgewater again properly.
I honestly I never hated Make It Rain as a 2-cost. Like, what deck was it even in that it was really problematic in?
I think it was
Swain. I think that's the only
yeah.
one.
Oh, Swain TF doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, true. So when Targon came out, Swain was gone. So
Literally, Jesus Christ. I mean, when Targon came out, a lot of our favorite decks were nullified.
yeah.
No, you know what we need to do that would just change the cost of like everything in Bilgewater? Let's just take Smooth Soloist down down to a 5 cost, and then she reduces everyone's cost down anyway.
Oh,
So
that's
problem
genius.
problem solved, right?
Hire this man.
To be fair, like I will say that I did like that the buff they made to Dreadway went down in cost, because like I know
Yeah.
that it was a while ago, but that was at least like something nice, because it means there's more things that can be played.
I am overwhelmingly surprised that made no difference at all.
Yeah, me too. I
Like-
mean, I think it's really, really close though.
It's a really
Yeah,
good buff.
it's so close. Like, whenever my opponent drops Dreadway, I feel as though I have lost the game. But obviously I don't. That's from my perspective. I don't know how many times they have drawn, like how many games I have played where my opponent has had Dreadway in their deck and they haven't got to the position they can play it.
Yeah.
But
So,
at an 8 cost, it feels like it should be doing more than it does.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I made like an entire video about the design of Bilgewater, but the thing is, what I personally love about Bilgewater is this whole like this wacky kind of thing. Like, it reminds me of Hearthstone. Like, I love the theme of Hearthstone and the design. I don't really like playing the game anymore, but this whole wacky stuff, I feel like Bilgewater like totally does that justice. And what I really like is that, like, if you use a spell, it's like, okay, I'm gonna fire this off, and there's a chance that I hit your Nexus by accident. It's like all this, like this spray and pray kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think a
random
card like
shit,
Maker
go!
Rain- yeah, exactly.
I-
But like, I think a card like Yordle Grifter is so perfect, and the nerf it got was probably fair. But I think if Yordle Grifter is a playable card, I think Bilgewater is in a great spot, because as much as every Allegiance card like enhance or enables a region and what they're good at, like the Mountain Scryer is like, it gives you a Celestial, it reduces the cost Celestial, it hits it from like 2 points. Same with the Bannerman. The Master is good as at flooding their board, and then Bannerman buffs your board to keep it safe. And Bilgewater has this nap thing, and it has this plunder thing. And if Yordle Grifter is good, that means a card like Black Market Merchant is good too, because it has that nap synergy, and it has that warning shot enable the plunder effect synergy. So like those two directions that card hits, it's exactly what Bilgewater wants to do. So if you can make Yordle Grifter a good card by maybe buffing some of the cards that like surround it, I think you're looking at Bilgewater in a pretty good spot.
I'll tell you what I would love to see. Like a card that has seen very little play in a very long time, but it's a card that I've always wanted to play, but it just never feels good. Strong Arm. Or Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
Strong
Yeah.
Arm. But the reason why, it's a 6-mana slow speed that has to hit Plunder in order to activate, like the ability to place somebody, a follower from your opponent's side into your hand.
Yeah.
I would love if they made that card. It might be broken, but I'd love if they made that card like Monster Harpoon, which is still useful at 6 mana, but in order for it to be cheaper, then you've got to hit Plunder. So basically, so it can still do its effect for 6 mana, but it's cheaper if you do Plunder rather than you have to Plunder to activate this. Because otherwise, if you've got nothing which hits your opponent's card, that's just a dead card in your hand for 6 mana.
Yeah, it feels good stealing the Citrus though.
I strongly agree that Yordle Grifter, I think, is the center of attention of this region. And the reason I don't think that Strong Arm should be buffed significantly is because I think, apart from being overwhelmingly tilting, if it was like an actual ladder viable card, I also think that we should keep this style of effect in Shadow Isles. Because one day they're going to want to print Viego as a card, and it's probably going to be Viego that really adds a backbone to the possession deck.
Yeah.
And I think gaining control of things is Shadow Isles. I think it should be strongly in Shadow Isles' identity, and if it is in another region, it should be priced out of competitive viability.
I agree.
Fair play.
You hit the
Fair
nail
play.
on the head there. I think the reason, like, I know sunk cost is a meme, but whenever people talk about Bilgewater and they say that card should be changed or buffed, I think the problem is that the card was probably really good in testing, and then they decided, you know what, Bilgewater shouldn't have tools like this because they're supposed to be good at other stuff.
Yeah.
I think Strong Arm might fall in that same category. If Bilgewater becomes good at removing stuff really efficiently, which is, they kind of already got that with Monster Harpoon, it's gonna the region's gonna become busted again, and they're gonna nerf all the fun cards like they did before, and that's not something I would like to see happen
I
again.
don't think anyone would like to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it just sound really stupid, like the standard Gomez. I was gonna say the other card I'd really like to see them make a change to is the Shadow Flare. I swear that I mentioned Shadow Flare. See, this is a card that everyone forgets about because it's not
Ephemeral?
15. The ephemeral one, which is in Ionia, with Shadow Flare, which is the grant all battling followers ephemeral for 6 mana.
Oh, that one.
The thing is, I don't think it would be bad for Shadow Flare to be cheaper, because it's not just a meme, it supports a certain archetype. It supports all-in champion decks. It's the kind of card that if it was competitively priced, you could put into a Fiora style list, or Karma, who's in the same region as it. Karma Lux could play this deck because it's very light on followers. Champion, even Yasuo, Lee Sin, champion-centric decks where the followers are just kind of there to, Shadow Assassin's in there to draw a card or whatever, they don't, River Shaper, they're just there to, serve a purpose and then die. I think Shadow Flare, if it was competitively priced, would actually be very healthy for the meta and would make more Voltron all-in champion strategies better. And now that we've seen a nerf to Fiora, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I agree.
And just going back to the point where we're talking about how some cards aren't meant to be good, when we first saw Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and whatever the second half of that spell is called, Paddle Star, when we first saw Paddle Star, people were comparing it to Flock, and saying that because this card exists, Flock must be broken. But the thing is, not every region can be good at everything. And we need to have cards in the game that are just priced outside of competitive viability, just to avoid all of the regions blending together and becoming the same thing. They do the same. They do the same thing in MTG. There are green cards that make red cards look laughably weak, and vice versa. I think you are exactly right when you say that. I think sunk cost at some point was much better. And they had to nerf it in testing. I would assume so anyway.
Yeah, it probably came from the standpoint where they wanted to give every region some landmark removal, and then because Bilgewater is not supposed to be good at efficient removal, they were probably how do we fix this? And then at some point they came up with sunk cost, and maybe it was 6 mana, and that was still too good. We don't know.
We need to give Freljord landmark removal, but we don't want them to be good at it. So what if they have to ramp to 8 first?
Right, yeah.
That being said, the new Freljord card that traps all of your opponent's stuff in ice, whatever that one's called.
Buried in ice.
Buried in ice. The buried in ice into it, the Stairs combo is really cute and very close to good.
Yeah, I agree. It's very scary. That's how close it is.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that I wish that did that, which is so. It's my problem with Buried in Ice and Entomb is that technically I am making a landmark because it is.
Totally.
I am making a landmark. I wish that synergized with Malphite Tally. And
100%.
That is the only thing that I wish. That obviously, that I don't know how broken that would be or wouldn't be, but I just when you just hit those things. That'd be so nice if that actually did a
Frozen Tombs are 0 cost, so it wouldn't help Malphite. But unless does the Frozen Tombs scale with the cost of the champion? Because
I can't.
On Nobalytics they're 0 cost. I think they are 0 cost, so I wouldn't help Malphite, and I don't think it's too broken for Talia. It just seems like something that is a bit counterintuitive that you don't get level up progress on Talia for doing that.
If you do it for the first time, you'd expect it to progress Talia, so I can see it, yeah.
So Yeah,
I know that it doesn't because I tested it because I thought it'd be a really funny idea. It didn't work.
I tried it in labs happily for the first time. Like I was playing Talia in Legends Lab, and I happened to stumble across it, and I was like, "Come on, this is bullshit."
I subbed it in a landmark. It's part of the thing.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
It really was.
My
It
run
really
is ruined.
But-
yeah, exactly.
And the thing of it is that like, 'cause obviously we're going to be like seeing reveal season hopefully soon for obviously like the new cards and new champions and that. So, the thing of it is that like I honestly hope we're going to see a little bit more like things getting shooken up a little bit. That's what I'm looking forward to, because right now I feel everyone's feeling that point where it's feeling a little bit stale at this moment in time in terms of like the same things are still around, the even like the other powerful decks before. It didn't really get changed up too much. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is that little like a injection of just, because that I feel that all three of us are much the same in terms of we just can't wait for new cards, because I feel like our brains just immediately go, what kind of crazy like combinations and things can I make happen with these new cards? Like that's the immediate thing that goes in. So I feel like that's what I'm most excited for. Is just like find a card, just being like, yeah, that's gonna be what makes this card now work.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing about this expansion is that PNZ and Bilgewater are both characterized by their like much wackier playstyle. Like you said, Bilgewater has a very like spray and pray, anything could happen, I'm drawing your cards, will these even help me kind of playstyle. And PNZ is on another level of being like in a different stratosphere of like gameplay style. So I like that. I have high hopes for this expansion to bring us cool card designs.
Yeah, it's Bilgewater and PNZ, so
Yeah, and-
you almost can't go wrong.
Well, I don't know. Riot's.
I shouldn't have said that.
Don't
You
say
can't
that.
go wrong, but yeah.
Considering the fact that the first card that we see, because obviously before we got Zillion, we got cards which had like his artwork in it, like like I feel like, what was it, the
Chronomancer,
Kahiri, yeah, Chronomancer, Kahiri, the student. Whatever. We had cards which like kind of like were showing us that it was like predict and whatnot that was going on. The only card that we have which shows us any representation of Echo is Concurrent Timelines, which is an insane card. So I just can't wait to see what that champion's gonna do. Honestly, like that's actually got me excited for
I think,
Echo like so much. Like,
yeah, so with this expansion, where we got Aurelia, Zillion, and Malphite, like Aurelia is by far the most popular character out of those three in League of Legends. Like just design wise, like everybody likes to see her and likes to play her, I think.
Yeah.
And like her whole theme. And for the next batch, I think it's Echo, probably by far, but Pike might be close, and then nobody really cares about Rek'Sai, like at all. So I think we might see the same thing.
I will be interested to see what he does though, and I will definitely probably make like several decks with that man in.
Rek'Sai is a she, actually.
Ah, she then.
She,
But
the big void lizard.
My queen.
Yeah, my queen.
This is what happens when Gomez doesn't know like what things are in.
You can really feel her femininity through her incoherent screaming.
Yeah,
man, those mumbles and whatever she does, like that stuff.
Well, I can't wait though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Just to see what she does.
Yeah, I actually really like Rek'Sai. Like she has an amazing playstyle. Like I really love these three champions actually. Like all three of the champions that are coming are like pretty excellent. I haven't played Echo since Tank Echo was like viable, but I really like the three champion designs on the whole.
Yeah, they're three of my most played, if not most played champions. So, and Aurelia, Zillion, and Malphite, I barely played them. I couldn't really care about this expansion that much.
Aurelia is the poster child of League of Legends. They like her too much. Like they have consistently made her a little bit too oppressive in both games now.
Shame. I mean, it's smart. I actually think the last expansion probably brought like the most amount of players that any expansion ever has. I mean, I didn't see the numbers, but I saw some people point that out. Like the influx of new players has never been this big. So it's like in the long run, it might be good. We're just kind of sitting here with this awful meta. But maybe in the long run, it'll be worth it.
I might be speaking bollocks, but from like if I remember the numbers correctly, I saw someone tweet about this the other day. We've gone from 30 million to 36 million active accounts over the course of the last patch. Because like someone was bitching on Twitter about how have we gained this many players in a meta this oppressive, and it's like, well, no one knows what an oppressive meta is when they first start playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
very true. And I do actually believe in Riot's ability to balance patch and get things back on track, because I do think like they do care about what the hell the player base thinks and whatnot. The fact that this is, as I said, like we've mentioned it in previous podcasts before, but the fact that they're like are so active on like the Reddit and Twitter and actually like trying to inform us, like you rarely get that from developers in terms of like I said, like because as I said, all of us came from Hearthstone. Like when something dropped in Hearthstone that was broken, like Death Knight Druid for so long, like was broken for so long, and we got nothing back from. We had nothing from the developers, and that was broken for quite a few months before they ended up changing anything. So I feel like the difference is that we know what it can be like in other games, and so that's why it's like, oh, this is fine. It's not going to take as long as the other. Like obviously we still feel a bit bad about it, but we're like, it's fine. They're patched this faster than if we were playing Hearthstone, so it's all good.
Yeah, all things considered, it's still pretty good. But when you know they can do better, it's easy to get upset or ask for more.
Gomez, when did we first start this podcast? Like 6, 7,
20 years ago.
In like episode 1 of this podcast, I complained about a deck that was like oppressive in Hearthstone. It is still the best deck in Hearthstone's Wild anyway. They don't give
there
a
we
shit.
go. So we've been going on for that much, and it's
still there.
Wow, that's I don't even know what to say. It's like just lack of attention from the devs or something.
They don't care about Wild. Wild is like a graveyard to them.
So many things that we've heard about in terms of just like wild, because this thing is literally like haven't touched Hearthstone since, but there's so many things that you just hear about, like that they went for big like money grabs and things like falsely, like it's insane to think that I was like addicted to that game almost like religiously, like I'd get home and play it. And now I just think
it's crazy how easy it is to look over how much the company doesn't care about you as a player. Like I don't think I could possibly play a Blizzard or EA or any of I'm kind of just like stuck with Riot properties now, because I now know what it is like to have a game developer care about your opinion of the game.
Yeah, and there's only more games around the way, so it's a good time to be a Riot fan, I think.
Do you think?
So you're like that meme with the pink squodgy thing, which gets out of the box and goes, "Let me just see what it's like outside." This punch back into it. Okay, I'll stay in the box.
I'll take the box.
I'll stay where I'm okay here.
So do you think you'll play the fighting game when that comes out?
Absolutely.
At the end of this year.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at those type of games, but it's Riot and love their characters.
Literally,
so.
like that's it. A friend of mine is super into competitive Smash Brothers, and it's like this is the game we will finally be able to play together, because we have lots in common, but we don't play video games together. We finally have something to play together.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's the magic of Riot, and we haven't been able to experience that for like 10 years. I mean, obviously because I started with them in League. And now it's finally Riot Games.
Games.
There's an S at the end.
I'll have you know, Bots and whatever the hell it was called, the board game, was put the S in Riot Games.
Yeah, true.
Actually, did you ever play that game?
I did not.
That was a good game. I played it.
I believe that.
Mechs and whatever they are, Mechs versus Minions or something.
Mechs versus Minions. Also,
I played that. It was amazing.
Before Valorant and before Legends of Runeterra, they also brought out Rune Stones. No, Telling Stones. The other board game.
Yeah. I remember that Fiora thumbnail, so I already was kind of like put off.
Yeah. Well, that video was like, I don't know. They kind of just let that game die immediately. I looked at the. I looked at the rules for that game, and it's like super simplistic. It's the kind of thing that you would like. It's basically noughts and crosses. Like it has very close to zero replay value by the looks of things.
But it's good to see that because it's such a good developer that like I just can't wait to see what they expand into and what they do. Because like, aren't they also going to be doing like a World of Warcraft style like MMO?
Oh yeah, baby.
That's what I mean. So there's so many different ways that I'm going to be losing my life.
Yeah,
But
that is also a question that I would want to ask to our esteemed guest. In the universe of Legends of Runeterra, in that world, what would you play? Like, game mechanics aside, what would you want to play as in the RPG?
Scurvy pirate from Bilgewater.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that adds up.
Von Yip.
I
would like to be a cat, please.
I'm really boring. I'm really vanilla. I want to rise through the ranks of the Demacian army.
That's cool.
For Demacia!
The wallpaper on my phone is the art for Demacia.
Devastating.
No, that's cool. I can respect that. A good old barbarian, a warrior.
Yeah,
It's the classic.
Anyway, I think
that we are wrapping up now.
Yeah.
But honestly, thank you, Sonny, for being on our podcast, like our little humble podcast. But literally, it's been an honor having you on, and you've been a great guest. So, thank you kindly.
It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed. I saw some of the podcasts, and it's just a great atmosphere. And as soon as you asked me, I was super happy because
really appreciate it. And
Well,
again,
you.
Congratulations for 10,000 followers. Congratulations for graduating.
Yep.
And,
thank you so much.
I look forward to, because now you're going to be doing content creation like near enough full time, right? 4 or 5 videos a week. Not to put pressure on you or anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna be ramping it up because I still have to finish up some stuff at like the internship and whatnot. But after that, it's probably gonna be just streams 5 days a week, daily uploads, and
Okay.
it's gonna be a good summer.
Well,
That's going to be like nice to look forward to for everyone. So obviously we will put down Sonny's links to both, which like his Twitch and YouTube, down below on the YouTube when this is on, because we do this as a video on YouTube as well as Spotify and SoundCloud is where you can find us. There will also be links to mine and Jankie's stuff. So if you're listening and like you think, they sound interesting, I want to see more things that they do, then please feel free to. As well as if you enjoy it, why not hit that subscribe button or like button or whatever it is on the aforementioned platforms of SoundCloud and Spotify as well as YouTube.
You won't regret it.
You won't regret it.
And that's an endorsement. We need to put that as being like in the quotation marks with like the quote from Sonny. You won't regret it.
Sonny approved.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, no. I think that's all good. So unless there's anything else that anyone wants to say, plug or do, then we shall say bye-zy byes.
Bye-zy byes.
Bye bye.